Now let's look at restructuring. We are running a federal system of government, but so much power has been left at the hands of the federal government to the extent that the states have become beggars, always running to Abuja. Therefore, powers should be restructured in such a way that powers should go back to the federating units so that the federal government will take care of only what brings the federating units together and the external policies of government. Therefore, the Nigerian state that is in dire need of restructuring, and as such, a constitutional amendment is necessary for changing the current legal structure. This will involve the recommendations of the Goodluck Jonathan Constitutional Conference of 2014 and extensive consultations with all the stakeholders and interest groups in the Federal Republic. As you are aware, restructuring cannot be decreed. Restructuring has to go through constitutional amendment. And I will urge that in voting for people to occupy public offices like the governors, the state assemblies, the national assemblies, the presidency, which I'm running for, we need people who are committed to restructuring this country to come on board so that the amendment and passing of the Constitution will be made a lot easier when Nigerians have taken the final decision about what should be the contents of this restructuring, and so the Constitution will be amended accordingly. Also, where applicable, if not already included in the earlier recommendations, a provision for national referendum to be included in our Constitution to enable Nigerians to vote for themselves on critical issues of discourse. We would also create a platform for national discourse, including all political parties and players on what our national corporate policy should look like, regardless of the political party in power. This is to enable Nigeria to achieve consistency in policies for national interest and stability. Another conference should be arranged where all political parties will be involved, all interest groups should be involved, so that we should have a policy that whatever party that comes into power will not have to start discarding what their predecessors have done, but they know that they were all signatories into this policy that have been agreed upon, and it can only be having differences in the way of implementation, but not discarding everything the previous administration have done. So this I consider as very essential that we agree as Nigerians, irrespective of our political beliefs, on what our national policies on various issues should be. And therefore, there will be stability in governance, whatever party comes into power. We'll also develop a robust foreign policy that reflects Nigeria's national interests within the ECOWAS, the African Union, and the United Nations. We'll direct Nigeria to look inwards rather than depending on imports. Nationalism will be high on our agenda. How have we benefited from countries we helped to liberate? We worked so hard. Nigerians even contributed their salaries in fighting all kinds of discrimination in certain countries and assisted in bringing them to independence. And we just behaved like big brothers who have done it and went back and sat down. And other countries now moved in and start getting the benefit. I am saying here that we should now have close relationship with all these nations that we have helped to liberate and participate in their own economies in the interest of developing our own economy. We will also say that Nigerian foreign policy must first take cognizance of our own internal requirements. I will go with President Donald Trump when he says America first. My idea of understanding America first, if I say Nigeria first, is for us to now start looking at ourselves internally. We're a rich country. If only we can monitor this corruption thing closely. No nation has ever been able to wipe out corruption completely, but we can reduce it to the barest minimum. Our administration will look at the way we budget, the way we come up with our development plan to enhance proper development and cut down on this corruption drastically.